Well, hello, and welcome to everyone who is joining us for another episode of Hughes Views 414. I know there's a lot going on. There's a data center meeting going on right now at Midtown. I know we got some folks that are usual participants in this program that are there, and apparently that crowd is very angry. I did get a couple of comments in our Facebook group, the Hughes Views Facebook group, with some photographs of the crowd and some people that are not very happy about the potential of a data center. What I'm hoping is cleared up at that meeting, because I've been made aware of the plans for this quote-unquote data center at Midtown. It's not a data center, one that you're thinking of like a huge Microsoft Google data center. It's like a computer server storage facility. There's fucking 31 of them all throughout southeastern Wisconsin, and the biggest one is owned by Potawatomi. But I think people are misinformed, and they're afraid of what the data center might mean, I guess, even though people don't even know what the fuck they are. So hopefully somebody will be able to server storage. Fix the sound. There's fucking 31 of them all throughout. The biggest one is owned by. How about that? Sound better right now? Or I know what it is. No, it's here's. This is what the problem is. I got the fix. There we go. That should have fixed our sound problem. Is the sound problem fixed now? I got a whole bunch of stuff going on because I got a whole bunch of different links and things I got to share. I got a whole bunch of stuff that's open. Hopefully the sound problem has. Okay, good. So the data center is not a data center. It's just like a computer memory storage facility for some company. And I'm hoping that the alderman is able to clear it up. But it looks like he's getting his ass eaten up by the angry crowd. And what I'm going to go ahead and assume this. So there's a cohort of people in this city that are anti-data centers because they're a part of like a larger organization that has a lobby to push back on them. And some of these people don't even live in a fucking Midtown neighborhood. Now, here's something we got to be mindful of. There's going to be people, and they always do this. They'll come in the black community, and they'll get large groups of people, and they'll, bring their own protesters and shit. A lot of those folks actually are paid because they have an agenda to stop data centers from being built. They don't give a fuck about the people, because any other time something is going on in that neighborhood, those same people either they'll gentrify that neighborhood, or they'll talk shit in the comment section of any article of something bad that goes on in that same neighborhood. So just be mindful of those folks. The Midtown neighborhood is overwhelmingly African American, and I don't know what the crowd is at this data center meeting, but if there's a whole bunch of white folks there, rest assured they probably don't live there, but they are just there to stoke some fires and to convince people that this data center is bad. All I know is this. There's nothing at Midtown. There was a Walmart there, and for whatever reason, that Walmart closed, and we've had our speculations and conversations about why the Walmart closed, but it's not collecting any property taxes. The ideas that we come up with to help our city, whether it be public safety, whether it be the services that we need or whatever, that stuff costs money. And if you have that much land at Midtown, because Midtown was a space that people have visited for probably 60 or 70 years because that was the home of Capitol Court. But right now, it's not really collecting any property taxes. So when you get a business or a company to move in there, that is more revenue for the city that we can use to fund things in Milwaukee that we think will be useful. Because we can't count on our fair share of money coming back from the state of Wisconsin because they only gave us a 10% increase in shared revenue. And with that fucking money, we got to hire more cops. So any additional money that we get from the state, we got to put more police on the streets. And right now, I'm just a little newsflash. Nobody wants to be a cop in the city of Milwaukee. Nobody wants that fucking job. They'd rather go be a cop in Oak Creek, St. Francis, or somewhere else. Nobody wants to be a cop here. And by law, we have to have a certain number of police on the streets in the city of Milwaukee, or we're going to lose the small 10% increase that we have in shared revenue. So I'm a pro-business person, and I think that we need revenue for the city because nobody wants to move into Midtown. You know how many ideas and suggestions, going back to when Cavalier Johnson was the alderman of the area of Midtown, he's currently the mayor. People had all sorts of ideas. Oh, we'll build a recreation center for the kids, and we'll have a roller skating rink. I don't know why the fuck people think everybody wants to roller skate that much. No businesses want to invest there. And so if there is someone that wants to come in, we got to at least consider their proposal, because where there is almost zero property tax revenue being generated now, Somebody might come in and that's additional 50, 60, 70, $80,000 a month that the city is getting that we can spend on programs that we need to keep this city safe and to make it better. Right? I don't know if we need to rehash the Carmelo Anthony situation. I mean, I'm here for it if y'all want to, because in all of the controversial topics that I have discussed, I've never been more right about anything than this one. And because your perspective is different on this and you want a reason to justify a black person killing somebody and getting exonerated or getting acquitted, I'm not with you on that. And I never fucking will be. And I'm glad that I'm not. And I'm not going to change my position because somebody wanted a 17-year-old kid to get away with killing a boy where he died in his twin brother's arms. Take all the racial shit out of it. Take it out for a second. Because guess what if it was the opposite situation? If it was a black athletic team, a sports team, a black high school, and some white boy sat where he wasn't wanted, where he wasn't supposed to be, and he was sitting with the black school in their tent, and then that white boy stabbed somebody, you want his ass to go to jail for 5,000 years. Don't change your narrative because Carmelo is black. Can't bring no fucking weapons and no goddamn track meet. Like, I don't even know why people got upset. But here's the thing. It was mostly men that called in today that got pissed off about that. Because I expect women to just be like, oh, he's just a baby. He stabbed them boys because he was scared. Because that's a woman's attitude towards shit. If a woman is threatened, even though a woman may start the fight, if she feels threatened, oh, she'll justify killing somebody. Well, he came after me. Yeah, ma'am, but you punched him in the face. So what? So that's what I expect from them. But for fucking men, first of all, if you got to carry a weapon, if you're going somewhere you're not supposed to be and you got to carry a weapon, you're a pussy. That's, I'm going to say, I'm just going to keep it 100%. Some of us are cut different. Some of us are raised different. If you can't whoop everybody's ass in the place that you're at where you're not supposed to be, don't go in there. Period. Like, that's some shit our fathers taught us. If you can't fuck that person up, and it's a bunch of them and one of you, then don't bring your ass around those people that you can't personally fuck up. Now, we can add another dimension to it. It was raining. He didn't want to go to where his team was at, or maybe his team didn't have a tent. I don't fucking know. I don't know that fucking rain made somebody a killer. Why didn't he just ask them boys, hey, y'all mind if I chill in here? Do you know how far that goes of just asking somebody fucking permission if you're going to be in their goddamn space? And 9 times out of 10, yeah, you can chill. Just chill over there. We're over here planning our strategy for the fucking game and for the track meet. We don't want you in here because you technically play for the other team. But just fucking asking. Like, that shit wasn't even a consideration. What I'm seeing from my people, none of it is shocking to me, is a tribal excuse for murder. Black folks want white folks to die and be murdered so fucking bad that when we are in the wrong, we still find a way to justify. And then somebody posted some shit in the Hughes Views group talking about Kyle Rittenhouse. God damn, do I love that example. First of all, fuck Kyle Rittenhouse and what he did in Kenosha. Ain't got shit to do with black folks, but we love to interject ourselves when there's some chaos going on because that's what the fuck we know. And this shit's embarrassing. That's why nobody wants to do shit for us. Don't nobody feel sorry for black folks. I am starting to understand that nobody gives a fucking shit about us. So Kyle Rittenhouse goes to Kenosha where he wasn't from, took advantage of chaos after Jacob Blake got shot by a Kenosha cop. Didn't have shit to do with anybody in Milwaukee. Didn't have shit to do with anybody wherever the fuck Kyle Rittenhouse was from. Kyle Rittenhouse goes to Kenosha, shoots 3 white boys. The fuck does that got to do with your black ass? Nothing. Kyle Rittenhouse is bad. Kyle Rittenhouse would have shot black people too. He didn't. That was a case of white on white crime. Why the fuck do we interject ourselves and pretend that them white boys that was in Kenosha, the good ones, well, Kyle Rittenhouse shot protesters that were there for us. Them white boys wanted an excuse to be out in public with guns. Why do we interject ourselves in shit and our kids can't fucking read? That one boggled my mind. There was another one about 10 years ago, and I still stand on this one too, and it's Colin Kaepernick. You don't hear from his ass no more, do you? Colin Kaepernick was about to get cut from the San Francisco 49ers because he was not the player that he once was. Colin Kaepernick had a knee injury, and if you got a quarterback with a knee injury, you ain't no good. You ain't going to the Super Bowl. So they're about to cut Colin Kaepernick. He had a shitty preseason, and so he knew he was about to get cut. So what does he do? He decides that he wants to take a stand for justice, and he wants to kneel. And then everybody was on Colin Kaepernick's dick. He's the next Muhammad Ali. He's the next civil rights leader. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? Colin Kaepernick didn't give a fucking shit about black people and black people's issues. Colin Kaepernick was actually raised by a white family. But he knew that if he took that stance by kneeling, that he would get a lot of attention. And he did. And so if the San Francisco 49ers would have cut Colin Kaepernick, it would have looked like they, as a football team, were cutting a black man who was kneeling for justice. Newsflash. Marshawn Lynch had been sitting on the bench and not standing for the national anthem for 10 years prior to Colin Kaepernick. Did nobody say shit about that? Marshawn Lynch was protesting the national anthem at football games because that's what that whole kneeling shit was about, protesting the national anthem because America's racist, which that's cool. I don't fuck the national anthem. I didn't write it. It's like 3, 4, 5 verses. Most of it is about slavery. Give a shit about that. But when Marshawn Lynch was like, I'm not standing for this fucking national, and they would show him sitting on the bench by himself, and all his teammates when he played for Seattle were all on the sidelines, all locked on. Marshawn Lynch was, I'm not standing up for this shit. Didn't nobody say nothing about that. But now all of a sudden, Colin Kaepernick becomes a hero. And what happened? Colin Kaepernick didn't get cut. His jersey sales went through the roof. He fucking played us. And so I made note of that on the radio some years ago. And, oh my God, y'all got so mad at me that, you know who really got mad is the owner of WNOV at the time. Even he got fooled. He was like, oh, sure, when you're wrong for that, Colin Kaepernick is the hero. No, he's not. He's fucking selfish. He didn't want to get cut. So he used the emotions of the black community to save his NFL career, which he didn't even fucking have one. No team wanted Colin Kaepernick. They didn't want him not because he couldn't have been rehabbed. He would have been a good like second string quarterback. He was a risk because if another team, let's say the Packers would have picked him up, because I think there was a brief conversation that the Packers would have had him as a backup. Here's what's crazy. We might have had Colin Kaepernick instead of Jordan Love. Might have been a better idea. I don't know. No teams wanted Colin Kaepernick because in the event that his knee injury was completely debilitating, another team would have cut him and they'd have to worry about him taking a new civil rights stance and making the team look racist that was going to cut him because he's not the athlete he once used to be. That's why the NFL didn't want him. They don't want that fucking controversy. But I just found it very hypocritical when Marshawn Lynch was leading the protest, because the whole reason why the national anthem is sung and the players are out on the field. So back in the day, and I've been watching football since I was born, the only reason why the national anthem is played at football games, because it didn't used to be, or it did, it was for the crowd. But the players weren't out there holding fucking hands and shit. The Department of Defense wanted a patriotic display to get more people to sign up for the fucking military. So they had a $1 million contract with the NFL. They told the NFL, look, if you have your players out on the field holding hands and locking arms when the national anthem is playing, we think, this is the Department of Defense, this is under George Bush, we think that more people want to sign up for the military because George Bush had us in that fucking war in Iraq and Afghanistan that we fucking lost, and people weren't signing up for the military. So the whole reason why the national anthem was played at football games and while the players were out there was because the George Bush administration wanted a commercial for people to feel more patriotic. And Marshawn Lynch was like, fuck you, I'm not doing that shit. And then whatever the fuck happened in who got killed in 2016? What civil rights thing were we pissed off? Somebody got murdered or shot or beat up by the cops in 2016. And then Colin Kaepernick was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fucking kneel. Fuck you. Fuck out of here. Shit, we just get fucking played, dude. But the whole Carmelo thing, I don't know why y'all got so hot about that. Fucking go somewhere where you ain't supposed to. Somebody comes into your fucking house right now, you come home from work and somebody's in your house, you're gonna fucking kill them. Period. And we would have your back if you did that. Because there is someone that you didn't invite in a place they're not supposed to be. You tell them to leave and they don't leave. Imagine somebody breaks into your fucking house and then they kill you. That's a travesty, right? And the tent that boy was in, didn't belong to his team. I wish more of y'all played competitive sports so you'd have a better idea. And the fact that you're going to be with another team, who the fuck does that? Who does that? Who goes, you're a visiting team. Fuck is you doing in the home team's area? Like you're at their school in their what? How in the fuck did we justify? Oh, it was racist. Maybe, but if you live in Texas, what the fuck is you doing fucking with white boys on their territory at their school in their tent? Riddle me that, Batman. I don't even know why I'm having this fucking discussion. This shit is just so insane. And the emotional responses that we got, I'm not shocked by it, but it's just like, what the fuck? And then I look at the overall conditions of just us and how we're doing. I'm like, makes all the sense in the world. JD the Poet says 2016 was Philando Castile. That was a bad one. That one I remember. Because he told that cop that he was armed. It was an Asian cop too, which made shit even more complicated. Because then instead of it being the familiar narrative of all cops are racist, then it became policing itself, regardless of the race of the cop, is structurally and institutionally racist. I don't know about that because can we recall, or maybe it doesn't make the news, when's the last time a black cop shot an unarmed black person? Don't happen very often, right? If the whole institution of policing was inherently racist, where you just kill black people no matter what your race is, if you're a black cop, a white cop, an Asian cop, then more black cops would kill more black people. And you would think, because as black people, we kill each other a lot because we see one another as expendable. And if there was some kind of like structural racism, whatever, in policing, then black cops would be blowing everybody's ass away. I can't have a society because I have to be someone that stands up for what is right and what is good in every fucking situation. I'm not going to join in with a group of people who are hungry for blood, who hate white people that much that they're okay with a 17-year-old boy dying in his twin brother's arms. That shit is fucking terrible. That shit is fucked up 6 ways from Sunday. And the fact that people say, oh, he should have been let go. And then people find all these other weird and obscure cases where a white person got away with something. Every fucking case is different. Every case is different. Every jurisdiction is different. Every set of jury instructions is different. Every jury is different. Every defense attorney, every prosecutor is different. All that shit is different. And so we simplify shit by saying, let me find some situation in the last 200 years in America where a white person killed somebody and got less time. And then think that that is a relatable example. We do not know shit about the law, and that frightens me because we are under the thumb of it more than anybody else and don't even know what the fuck it is. Apparently, the Metcalf family knew the judge, and a whole bunch of black content creators are going nuts like, see, the judge in the case of Carmelo Anthony knew the family. And I know Lena fucking Taylor. I know judges too. So what? What impact do you all think a judge has on the decision making of a jury? A jury is separate. A judge will say, hey, jury, here are the instructions based on state law. The judge can't go to each, and let's say the judge had a hand in. I'm gonna humor you for a second because somebody sent some shit to me saying, oh, sure, when the Metcalf family knew the judge, they sent me all this fucking shit. Let's say the judge went to every juror and said, hey, motherfuckers, you better find Carmelo Anthony guilty. If one juror comes forward and says, yeah, the judge had an influence on our decision, mistrial, that boy will be free by 4th of July. Because somebody knows a judge and the judge presides over a case and the judge knows the victim. Okay, let's say that that's a major problem. Okay, I'll humor you again on that. I'm humoring a lot of folks tonight, even though I fucking shouldn't, because a tribal excuse for murder is fucked up. We're acting like white folks. We're acting like the worst kind of white folks. We emulate the most racist white people, like when women emulate men, they emulate toxic men. When women become masculine, they act like the worst kind of dudes. Don't believe me? Do you know anybody that's in a lesbian relationship? Go look at the domestic violence rates in lesbian relationships. Women beat the shit out of each other in those fucking relationships because there's usually a man in a lesbian relationship, and the lesbian that is more masculine emulates toxic masculinity and she beats the shit out of her girlfriend. We sometimes do that with whiteness. We adhere to the worst forms of our oppressor. That's why we still beat our fucking kids. And you guys got to stop doing that shit too, because what does that turn our kids into? Fucking traumatized little monsters. That's why they fight every fucking body. Oh, the problem is we ain't whooping our kids no more. These 29-year-old mamas are punching their 14-year-old daughters in the face and throwing shit at them like knives. And yeah, so it's not about, oh, we're not disciplining our kids. Some time ago, Black families cared about their kids. Yeah, and we think because, oh, we were disciplined physically and that kept us straight and narrow. No, we were kept on the straight and narrow because our parents and our grandparents and the whole community actually fucking cared about us and they loved us. These parents right now hate their kids. You got half of our community that think their fucking grandmother is their mama. I'm not, no, no, no. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of these kids that are under the age of like 10 think their mama's their fucking auntie or their sister because they're with their grandmother so much because these parents hate their fucking kids because the kids stop the mama from going out, stop her from fucking having men over at the house and shit. They fucking hate these kids. And what we are seeing as we're beating up on the youth is you have a whole generation of kids that were completely not wanted. They weren't wanted. Their mamas don't fucking want them. They got to stay with their grandmamas. These kids growing up fucking confused and shit. And then somebody posted some shit on social media, and there was somebody that said, "Oh, I didn't know that my mama was my mama until I was like 13." I said, "What the fuck?" Yeah, I thought my grandmother was my mother. I thought my mama was my auntie or my sister. Anyways, let's read some text messages. Kiana asked if we're live. Yeah, we're live. So I might do a recorded show here. Because if I got shit I got to do at 7 o'clock, I don't know why I picked 7 o'clock to do these. If I do a recorded show, I'll just record the show like earlier in the day, but the chat will still be live. So I'll record the show, broadcast it at 7 o'clock. But now I'm live today. Kyle says, bro, this is sick. Aaron says, that's a fact. We are stupid, ignorant. Fuck yeah, we're ignorant of the law. So in Wisconsin, let me give you another example. We don't know the law. And then when we break the law that we don't know, we always say it's racist. That's why nobody believes black people and we say shit is racist. In the state of Wisconsin, you have a license plate. So in our state, you don't have to show your vehicle registration. You know, you see shit on TV like, oh, license and registration, please. Milwaukee police, Wisconsin police, state troopers, sheriffs, they don't ask you for your registration because our registration is our stickers. Okay? Let me tell you what the fucking law is. First of all, your car's got to be registered. If your sticker says June, your fucking June of 2026, your shit's expired. It's not, oh, I got 30 days. No, the fuck ass you don't. Technically, the day in which you bought the car in that month is the expiration. But if your sticker says June and the year is 2026, your shit's expired. They're pulling your ass the fuck over for that. Now, you might just happen to be smoking a fucking blunt at the same time, and you're going to get a marijuana charge because weed is still illegal in Wisconsin, and operating while intoxicated is still a charge. Don't say the shit was racist. So in the bottom left corner, this is law now. In the bottom left corner is the month, and the bottom right corner is the year. You have to keep those stickers separate. When you see people with their fucking stickers and shit all over their fucking license plate, that's a moving violation. They'll fucking pull you over for it. And what somebody will say is, you're a racist for pulling me over for that. No, in order for a police officer to accurately let's say your fucking car gets stolen and the cop has to search the license plate, look at all these different dates and shit, try and figure out if the vehicle's actually registered or not. That's state law. But because we don't know it and we get pulled over for shit that we don't know is illegal, ignorance is no excuse for the law. And we also have an expectation, which we have to get rid of. And the reason why I think our community knows so little about the most important shit, especially money, is because we thoroughly and fully trust white people to educate our kids, and they're not ever going to do it. They are going to make sure that our kids don't know fucking anything. They stopped teaching cursive, and some people are like, oh, that's kids don't need cursive. Are you insane? Let me meet a 30-year-old that can't sign their fucking name. You think I'd ever hire that person? Hi, here, I need you to sign these employment documents, and they print their shit. I don't know how to make a cursive S. I never was taught that. If you don't see that that is a level of functional fucking illiteracy that they're letting our kids go from one grade to the next, and we don't even say shit about it. Some original documents, if you're a researcher, and I wish more people were, some original documents aren't printed. They're written in fucking manuscript. You got a motherfucker they'll have a college degree and are doing actual research. Like some medical journals and shit from a long time ago, where we need the data that they found back way a long time ago before we had morals and standards. Some of the best medical research was done on human beings before we made that shit unethical. And some of that shit is written in cursive. How the fuck are you gonna be a physician? I never learned how to write in cursive, so I can't read 500 years worth of medical research. What the that's insane to me. There needs to be a reset. It's never going to happen. It's just the ignorant people are going to find themselves in a world in which they're not going to understand anything, and AI is going to eat their asses up. And I'm trying to keep my head above water, and I'm somebody that is trying to understand technology as much as I possibly can, because I'm not going to let that shit eat me up. But we're so fucking behind, and it's sad because you can't even tell black folks shit. City is so fucked up. The mayor will be doing shit. The mayor will say shit. The common council members, all the people that represent us, like, hey, we got to get shit together. We got to come to these town hall meetings. We need your input. And we don't go to any of it. Fucking school board meetings are nothing but teachers, no parents. Nobody goes to school, and they're deciding the curriculum and how to fund our kids' future. And we don't fucking go to that shit. But at the same time, we'll say our elected officials ain't doing shit. That's fucking insane to me. You'll have a fucking town hall meeting like in West Allis or Waukesha. These motherfuckers will show up for a town hall meeting because a street will get extended, a lane, and the whole fucking town shows up to that shit. We won't show up to where they're voting on $1 billion spending package that is ultimately going to fail black kids, and we just trust the white folks. But then when Carmelo kills one, we celebrate that shit. Read some of these chatty chats. CJ says the truth sometimes sucks, but the truth always fucking sucks. And I'm not talking about our radio station. When I found out my fucking father had cancer, I was like, this is the worst shit I've ever heard in my life. I didn't get mad at the doctor. I'm like, okay, that's what the reality is now. We can't, as black people, have an adversarial relationship with the truth because the shit makes us uncomfortable. We're too emotional on the wrong shit. We really are. And ladies, don't get mad at me when I say this, because I don't mind and don't care and expect y'all to be emotional. But that shit is transferring into the boys that you are raising. You're raising emotional boys. And guess what y'all are saying? You're saying all these men out here acting like bitches and you don't want none of them. I totally get it. Because some of these men are more emotional than y'all. We expect y'all to be emotional. Like, we afford that shit to women. But when it's men, and you guys, and I'm not criticizing single mamas, but some of them are fucked up. And there was something I put, it's somewhere on this YouTube page, where it's a black woman that says, if a black single mama raises her son and he goes to the NFL, he goes to the NBA, and there was no daddy around, she gets all the credit. She did it on her own. She was taking him to practices, and she was going to all his games and supporting him. She was having sit-down meetings with coaches and shit. That mama might have been sending letters to colleges to help her son get looks, right? That mama did everything. She gets all the credit. Okay, but what about when a single mama's son kills 3 fucking people and steals a car and crashes into a fucking cop car? Give her the credit for that shit too. No, don't just give her the credit because her son made it. And the way that woman describes it, she's like, oh, the big fat mamas with the big huge titties sitting on the couch. My baby made it. We did it. We got drafted. And we give her all the praise. But when her son just killed 4 fucking people in our own black community. Put the mom on blast for that shit too. Don't just give her credit. So here's what's crazy. When the son is fucked up and goes to prison and commits a crime, then we say, oh, the daddy ain't around. It's the daddy's fault. But when the single mama has a son that's successful and goes to the league, then we don't give a fuck about the dad. We didn't need him no way. But when the boy is fucked up and kills somebody, well, it's because his daddy wasn't around. That's what it was. We're all over the place with this shit. It's fucking embarrassing because we're so much smarter than the people that are beating us. Like, if we just got our shit together. Again, I'm not on the single mamas because I know how sensitive you are. Some of y'all are one. Shit, my mother's technically single. My father's dead. So I got a single mama. She better not start dating either. These mamas are like, I'm going to give my son everything I never had. Can I take a moment on that? And I want to get to this. I got a data center story I want to share with you. How the fuck are you going to give your son everything you never had? You're a girl. You can't give a son the same shit you wanted. You're a fucking girl. You're a woman. You need and require different shit. I'm going to give, what the fuck are you getting, the Barbie dolls? He's a fucking man in his life. If I would have gone into an opposing team's tent, and let's say it didn't turn out the way this case did with Carmelo, and let's say I got my ass kicked by some big white boys, okay? My black ass goes, I'm at a visiting team's school, and I go into their area where I'm the opposing fucking team, and some white boys kick my ass. And I come home and tell my father, like, nigga, what the fuck is you thinking going in somebody else's designated area? He's like, I should kick your ass too for being that goddamn stupid. My father would be like, well, did you ask if it was raining? Did you ask them if you could be in their space? No, I just sat down and dared them to move me. And they moved your black ass, didn't they? Uh-huh. We don't give a fuck about our kids. We don't care about them. SC says the Midtown Data Center meeting just ended. It started at 5:30. I hope he has chairs for his constituents next time around. My neck, my back. So SC, what was the crowd like? Did you take any pictures? Because I want to see if those people actually live in Midtown. Because please don't be fooled by folks that come from somewhere else that go into the black community because there's tension. They always participate in our tension. And I saw this when Dontre got killed. So we had big protests when Dontre Hamilton was killed by Milwaukee Police Department Officer Christopher Manning. This is back in 2014. And they had protests. The protests became majority white because white people like to be involved in fucking chaos because they know that they're not invited into our community or they're not welcome in our community any other time. But when shit is fucked up and we're grieving, the white folks will show up in a second. And grab a phone call. Y'all got mad at me yesterday. I didn't take no phone calls. Hello, you're on the air.
Hey, check this out. What I was going to say is, because I don't want to lose my train of thought, we the blacks got to stop being so passive with this bullshit that they bring in our way. You take what they use against them, use against you, and use it against them. But you let them make the first move first. And also, I know some people in the chat said, well, mama raised boys that they wouldn't even marry. But they don't say nothing about these punk ass, punk pussy, dirty dick motherfucking hoes that make these kids, and then he leave his fuck and go create another fuck that he doesn't raise. And then they sit here and say, well, mama raised him. Well, motherfuck, what about the motherfucking daddy that left his motherfucking kids that he ain't motherfucking raising? And then when the motherfucking bitch get in the goddamn nursing home, I'm your motherfucking daddy. So, bitch, if we gonna talk about the woman and say she a bitch and a hoe, let's talk about these motherfucking niggas and these punk ass, bitch ass motherfucking whites who ain't raising a fuck neither. Because it takes a dick and a pussy to make a motherfucking kid. You have a good evening, Mr. Hughes.
Thank you, Al. You
Take
too.
care.
All right then now. All right. I'm not letting anybody off the hook, by the way. I have a brother. He's much younger than me. We're not twins, but if my brother gets into an altercation with someone who's on an opposing side, in this case, It's a athletic team, and my brother is getting into it with somebody. I got my brother's back, and we're gonna fuck that person up, and y'all would too, ladies. If you got a sister, you don't even give a fuck what started the argument. If you see your sister into it with another bitch, you're gonna beat that bitch's ass, or you may kill her, right? But imagine the person that started the argument with your sister kills you. Because the person that Carmelo stabbed was not the person he was having a physical altercation with. The whole shit is fucked up. Part of the old Walmart site at Midtown Shopping Center on Milwaukee's north side is set to be converted into a, quote, research computing center. This article appears in the Milwaukee Courier. The proposal is not for a massive AI training data center like seen elsewhere, like in Port Washington. This is a small scale. The developer nor the city have used the term data center with respect to what's being filed, a high level City Hall source told the Milwaukee Courier. This is nothing like we've seen in Port Washington, according to the legislative file. This proposal at Midtown is described as a data processing computer services computer research facility. The new facility is set to occupy 19,000 square feet, which is less than 20% of the site, which will also feature a new Milwaukee Public Library, affordable housing, and self-storage. So the data centers that are the boogeyman that y'all don't like are hundreds of thousands, like they're 3, 4, 5 football fields. So the kind of data centers, like the bad ones, 19,000 square feet, like where I work, in the radio station I work at, we have 25,000 square feet. So this, what they're proposing, this, what do they call it? I want to make sure I get it right now. I don't want to call it a data center. A computer, a data processing computer services research facility. It's not a fucking data center. It's too small. It's just where they house servers. And there's 31 of them that are already in existence in Milwaukee, around Milwaukee County, and nobody even gives a shit about. But for some reason, somebody is stoking and riling people up, trying to get people to protest this. And here's what's going to happen. The data center, I shouldn't call it a data center. The data processing computer services computer research facility, whoever the people are that are planning on building it, are gonna be like, fuck you and fuck Milwaukee. And we're gonna lose millions of dollars in property tax revenue. And then we're gonna wonder why we don't have money to fix shit. Because it happens every single time. Misinformation gets spread through our community, and it spreads like wildfire, just like the meatpacking plant over at the old A.O. Smith site, Tower Automotive. Y'all fucked that one up for real. Those were good paying jobs. And because y'all didn't, quote unquote, want a slaughterhouse, you know what's there? Fucking nothing. Nothing is there. We push back on fucking everything. And at some point, you know what people are going to do? Fuck the black community. We don't give a shit what they want. They protest everything. We can't fucking choose what comes into our community. We don't have a workforce that's educated enough for 21st century jobs anyway. Because here's what the worst case scenario is. Let's say somebody builds some shit in our community. I don't know, some corporate headquarters, whatever. They're going to open up the job search. None of us are going to be qualified. And all the people that work there are going to be from fucking Waukesha County. Because Milwaukee people are not qualified for those jobs. And that shit's embarrassing because we always talk about, oh, we need good paying jobs. You got to have a fucking skill set. You can't just have a job come and then you don't know how to do shit. You don't even know basic customer service. Like, this is fucking insane. I don't even know why I got to have these conversations. It's just goddamn frustrating. And then we ain't going to vote for shit either. Oh, we're fucked in this upcoming election. I already feel it. I already know. Lady B said it's hard to pay attention after that call from Al. I mean, you know. SC says those were the same. Marvin says to Reggie, who will write the check. Protesters from the Port Washington plans. Are you serious? Okay, am I on the same page as you? Let me make sure that I got my right chat up. Hang on. Let me make sure everything is on the up and up. So wait a minute. You mean to tell me that the people that were at the Midtown data conversation were the same folks that were protesting the data center in Port Washington? Because here's what I say to that. They didn't want a data center. And plus, Port Washington is on Lake Michigan. Data centers need access to water. At least most of them do. So whatever they're building at Midtown, ain't no fucking water over there. In fact, the only water over at Midtown's got lead poison in it. So the people in Port Washington didn't want a data center in their community. Cool. That's their decision. They live up there. They pay property taxes up there. That's their land. Cool. Because you don't want that shit up there, don't fuck around and come down here. We don't need to fucking hear from you. Because they're not even building the same thing. You know what it could be? Is like those white folks don't want black people to have shit. And they probably know, because if you're going to make the trip from Port Washington down to Milwaukee, you probably are doing your research on the facility. They know that it's not the same kind of data center that they rejected. They just might not want us to have shit. And because we tend to believe any fucking thing, yeah, down with the data center. The motherfuckers don't even know what a data center is. You know, every stupid ass picture that we take, every text message that we send, that data's got to get stored somewhere. They're going to build the fucking data center, because guess what? If your phone stops working, you have no more storage, you're going to be, how come I can't take no more pictures of my spaghetti that I made? And stop fucking taking pictures of food that you make and put it on a fucking paper plate. Pull out the dishes if you're going to photograph your nasty looking ass food. Fucking assholes. Notice of a public hearing before the City Plan Commission spread on social media on May 13th. But the item has since been struck from the agenda. So I guess tonight was the reschedule of the data center meeting. Marvin says, I agree. We have a segment that thinks that when a pick and save leave, protesting will reverse the decision. It worked in the case of St. Joseph's, because, you know, St. Joseph's Hospital, that would have been a killer. So St. Joseph's Hospital, which is located on like between Chambers and Burleigh, like 50th to 53rd, between Chambers and Burleigh. St. Joe's was like, we can't sustain this shit because y'all are coming to our hospital, you're not paying our bills. And they tried to leave. And there was a pretty major push by some activists, and they had a bunch of meetings. And finally, St. Joe's like, okay, fine, we'll stay. You want to know why St. Joe's was leaving? Not just because we don't pay our medical bills. And also, they get a lot of like Medicare and Medicaid reimbursement. So if you know anything about how the healthcare system works, if you're on Medicare or Medicaid and you go to the hospital, you go to the doctor, the hospital is not getting reimbursed for like 120 days. And you might have had $20,000 or $30,000 worth of like medical bills. They're not going to get reimbursed from the federal government for like 3 or 4 months. But in the meantime, people go to the hospital and then they'll either have health insurance or they'll pay out of pocket for their services. Well, we don't have either. And so the hospital is out to dry. And when somebody comes into the emergency room by state law, you have to get treated. And we get shot a lot. And if they would have closed St. Joseph's, we wouldn't have made it to Columbia, St. Mary's, or St. Luke's, because if you get shot somewhere on the north side, St. Joe's is a lot closer than going to the south side or going to the east side. So a lot of us would fucking die in transit. So we need that hospital. So not only were we not paying our hospital bill, and this is just fact of why they're about to close our hospital, because everything is not, they just hate black people. Black people, we fuck up a ton of shit. We don't ever want to take responsibility for it because we think we're owed the world because of racism. I think it's some new racist to just look at how black people act today and just like, I don't like those niggers. They just complain about everything. I just can't stand them. These niggers. Do you know where we get federal health care funding for that could have saved St. Joe's? The census. Y'all are so worried about the government finding out you have 2 extra people living in your apartment. We don't fill out the census. Whatever, you don't want to fill out the census. When we fill out the census, that's why they pay people to knock on doors to make sure you fill out the census. Y'all remember that during COVID? There are people knocking on your door. Like the census, the federal government is like, look, we know that some people are worried when the government comes knocking on the door, but the census workers will tell you, I don't give a fuck how many people live here. Like, I don't care what's on your lease. We need to know how many people that are here, because for every person that we count in your neighborhood, $1,000 goes to your local fucking hospital. So if, let's say 30,000 black people in the city of Milwaukee, I'm not doing the census. I don't want the government knowing let's just say it's 30,000 black people. You just lost $30 million for your hospital, and because the hospitals get federal funding. So you not filling out the census. Okay, you don't want your landlord to find out you're cheating on your lease. Barada don't give a fuck, no way. And you're not filling out the census. Well, then you expect your hospital to close. And then when the hospital closes, you can't say they don't care about black people. No, black people didn't fill out a fucking form, and it's really easy. Hi, what's your name? Name is at the top. What are you? Black or white or Asian? Black. Okay, what's today's date? You're done. You just got $1,000 from the federal government to keep your fucking hospitals open. And then what's gonna happen the next week? Somebody in your family is gonna get fucking shot, and you're gonna need that goddamn hospital. There's a whole generation of black folks that are like 60 plus that have never shared what I'm sharing with you right now. A whole bunch of black people just think that everything that is fucked up is because white people hate us. White people do hate us, but we're at a point right now where we can say fuck them in a lot of situations. Now, white folks don't have to do shit to us. They don't have to. They can just sit back and just kind of watch us implode. Kiana says St. Joseph's Hospital always had bad vibes and energy from the outside. It looks like an ominous place. That's because it hasn't really been updated. But you know, that was the baby hospital. That was the best baby. If you were pregnant and you went to St. Joe's, because they had the NICU right there. If your baby came out needing like help, they had all the shit. Like St. Joseph's was the baby hospital for like a half a century. Ask like your mama and your grandmamas. And if you had a high risk pregnancy, you went to St. Joe's and they got you right. They took care of you and the baby. I don't know what it is now. I'm not sure what St. Joseph's has become, but I know when we don't fill out the census, all we're doing is hurting ourselves. What's Linda talking about? Linda, I missed your calls last night. I think I must have been. Well, I was on one last night because we were talking about the a little bit about the Carmelo Anthony case. Not like I talked about it today, but like that emotional shit. Why are we fucking with white boys anyway? I'm gonna go sit in these white boys' tent and I got a knife. Don't you know that if you have a weapon and you go looking for trouble, you're gonna fucking find it? I carried a gun for 5 years and realized it was the dumbest goddamn thing I ever did in my life because it turned me into a fucking pussy. And I say that because it gave me a false sense of security because I would put myself in situations where I knew I was outnumbered. I couldn't fight nobody. If I can't fight somebody, I'm not fucking with you at all. I'm not even gonna argue with you. If I can't beat your ass, all right, you got to play, boy. All right, then. No. But I had that pistol. I took that motherfucker with me everywhere. Everywhere I went. I was like, I don't need this fucking shit. Because it made me feel bolder than I actually was. And here's the thing, I don't want to shoot. I never wanted to shoot anybody. I think a lot of people watch too many movies and shit like, oh, if somebody breaks into my house, I'm going to shoot him. You're probably going to miss and kill your neighbor. That's actually what is more likely to happen. City 5421 says the pick and save at Midtown definitely needs to close. Pure shithole. I don't live too far from there, but I go to Wauwatosa to shop. I ain't been in that pick and save in fuck. Last time I was there, it was an early voting site. At that little Midtown, that little plaza there, and that was in 2020. But to shop at that pick and save, I ain't been there. Oh, it's been more than 10 years. Probably 20. Ain't no way. Last time I went, it was all fucked up. Shit was all in the aisles. Linda says, my black family doctor told me not to go to St. Joseph's years before the controversy. All right. Well, I just know it was the baby hospital because a good friend of mine, his wife was a nurse and she worked there. She delivered all her kids there. Marvin Jenkins says, Sherwin, the survey needs to be with a COVID check to get some folks' attention. Fuck that. We're not paying black folks to do shit they're supposed to do. There's some responsibilities. Like I sometimes have to do shit that I don't want to do, but I have to do it. And nobody's going to pay me to do it. Like I wish somebody would pay me to clean my house, but they're not going to. I got to clean my house. It's just some shit. I think we want these lives of comfort and convenience and kind of we forsake responsibility, particularly if you're going to have a weapon. There's a level of responsibility in owning a weapon, having a weapon, possessing a weapon, and concealing a weapon that most people are not ready for. They think that it's the ultimate problem solver. I guarantee you to talk to a defense attorney. Motherfucker left the house with their pistol that day. Now they're facing 100 years in prison because I'm leaving the house with my pistol. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with me until you shoot and you miss and you kill a mother of four in her fucking minivan. Then I bet you wish you and that pistol would have stayed home that day. And I'm trying to prevent as many situations like that from happening because too many people go out in these streets with these guns. They talk shit. They get drunk. They involve themselves in an argument that they may not have gotten in if they were sober and unarmed. Because if you don't have a pistol, you tend to be a little more like, you know what I mean? If you're in an area or around some people that don't fuck around and you're unarmed, you shut the fuck up, don't you? You don't start no shit. Now, some of you are stupid and got a death wish. You'll fight a motherfucker with a Glock and a switch hanging out their pocket. More power to you. Good luck. Hope your family has a fucking life insurance policy on you. Every fucking argument ain't got to end with a fucking with shooting somebody. You know, if you disagree with somebody, do what I do. Fuck you. We see shit differently. Fuck, I don't want your life anyway. Why do I give a fuck if we don't agree? And I don't want your life. Only people I give a fuck about are like my family, my friends, my close circle. Everybody else, I can't give a fucking shit what everybody else thinks and feels about me. Fuck, I'm too old for that shit. Fuck you. Fuck all of you. I mean, not you all. You all are nice. Let a motherfucker get me that mad to where I want to shoot them and I'm sitting in a 5x8 cell until I die? Fuck that. And you think we would have learned that goddamn lesson. You get into an argument with somebody, all right, well, we ain't gonna agree on this. Fuck you, I'm going home. And you wake your ass up the next day, and guess what? You forget all about that little petty bullshit. But no. Now we're fucking on wanted posters and shit. Reginald said, children grown and gone. I shop where I want, when I want. JD live by the Metro Mart. Jasmine, that's the best besides the Wild Goods. And I'm closer to Metro Mart. Oh, there's something else I want to show you. So they had am I the only one to bother about this? So the people from Eagle Sports were on the lunch break show with maybe Shannon and Nitty, and they're promoting this. Can y'all see the flyer? This Juneteenth shoot night. There it is. What the fuck is this? Is this mocking us? 50% off range time from 5, and they were so from 5 until 12 midnight. You can go fucking shoot on June fucking Teenth Day. You know how many people are probably gonna get shot on Juneteenth Day? But then you got the Eagle Sports Range, like, well, fuck it. If you guys are gonna have your guns, come here and pay us for some range time. I just think it mocks our holiday. It feels like it's tone deaf. That's what it feels like to me. And they're calling it shoot night. Upon initial inspection, like that shit is offensive. And look at the picture they're using. That's an actual photograph of Juneteenth Day of the crowd. Peaceful, beautiful black crowd. And they just kind of animated the photos, whatever. And they were promoting this shit. I think it mocks us. Somebody said they were wrong though. It's like, oh, Sherwin, the owner of Eagle Sports Range, is black. No, the fuck they're not. His name is like Ahmed something. He's a Muslim. You know, he's not black or Middle Eastern because you can be a black Muslim. But I found this a little distasteful. And so I had to text Nitty because I don't think Nitty knew that they were doing this Juneteenth shoot night. And I was like, Nitty, you got to ask him about this shit because he had all the people. They had a little Asian girl with pink hair on and had some black dude was like, oh, I want our community to, I don't know, some shit with guns. And then they're talking, and then the girl that was in, did you guys see that fucking shit today? You can go back and watch it on YouTube. And the girl was like, "Oh, I got a little girl. I got a daughter. She knows all about my gun." What the fuck? And then they even mentioned, "Oh, you can bring your kids." They didn't say what age. So, can you bring a fucking 7-year-old to the gun range? I just don't think that that's any place for kids to be. Some shit is reserved for grown folks. I don't think that you should. Now, this is my opinion because we're so irresponsible with shit, and all too often guns are seen as false sense of security or toys or status. I don't think you should touch a firearm until you are old enough to possess one. And if you possess one, you should know how to clean it. You should know how to use it responsibly, and you need to know the law because every situation is not self-defense. Y'all watch too many fucking movies to think, oh, that person was threatening me. They were running away from you and they were unarmed. Well, I was threatened and I shot him. Now you're gonna go to jail. Nobody's having these tough conversations because I think we're afraid of our own community. Brian says, heads up, folks, Costco is way overrated. LOL, just left their stuff is overpriced for no good reason. I've never been to a Costco. No desire to go. The fuck I need to buy a 75-pound jug of pickles for? I don't go to Costco. I'm just one person. JD says, I like Sam's over Costco. I don't buy in bulk. CJ says, very much so distasteful. It seems like it is, right? And they're not advertising on our radio station because a lot of times if a business advertises, then we'll give them an in-studio interview. They just came on to promote this shit. I just found it distasteful. And I'm not throwing shade at my colleagues because my colleagues, fuck, they interview everybody. They interview people I never. Have you noticed that? All they do is interview people. Some people are interesting. Some people, I'm like, why are you talking to that person? I don't like interviews. I've interviewed all the interesting people. Once you've interviewed Kamala a bunch of times and Hakeem Jeffries a bunch of times and Jim Clyburn and members of the Congressional Black Caucus, like once you've talked to those people, everybody else is not, they're not all that interesting. And no offense to people, I'm sure you all have lives that are worthy of being examined. But if I'm going to be talking to somebody, unless it's like a dedicated special interest segment, I just don't want to interview anybody because I also come to find out most of y'all don't give a shit. Like, oh, hey, everybody, we're going to interview so-and-so tomorrow. Y'all don't give a fuck about that. Like, I'm going to tune in because Sherwin's going to interview somebody. Y'all go watch other shit on YouTube, probably. Jasmine says they're trying to tap into that black money. And I guess I don't blame them for that. But then they said, so one of the guys that was promoting the Juneteenth shoot night, who's black, and they kept fucking his name up and shit. The Shannon and, well, yeah, they both fucked his name up. I think his name was Saad. They kept calling him Saeed, all sorts of shit. And he was like, oh, after you've done all your Juneteenth Day festivities, come on down to the range. So, you know, Summerfest is doing something on the Summerfest grounds after our Juneteenth Day is over. I think Juneteenth Day goes until 4 o'clock this year, which is a shame. You can't even have Juneteenth Day go till 7 p.m. I'll let you give your, make your own assessment of why we can't have Juneteenth Day go until after the sun goes down or after it gets dark. And so they were like, oh, yeah, you can come to the range and shoot till midnight after you're done with all your Juneteenth Day shit. A lot of people are going to be drinking. I don't know if they considered that. So if you do all the Juneteenth shit, and I don't think they sell alcohol at Juneteenth Day, which is another. What other fucking festival do we have in Milwaukee that doesn't sell alcohol? Am I wrong? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. They don't sell alcohol at Juneteenth Day because they don't want y'all getting fucking drunk. That's a shame. Are there events? No, there's not, because I've been at Juneteenth Day because after Juneteenth Day is a long day for me, and I actually kind of protested a little bit because why? Just because I'm black, do I have my longest work day of the year on Black Independence Day, and white folks take the whole fucking day off? Sure, when you got to line up at 7 o'clock in the morning for the parade that's supposed to start at 9, but the parade ain't going to start till 10, and the parade is only going to be an hour, then the parade is 2 hours, and then you got to walk your happy ass over to where your broadcast booth is, and you got to broadcast till 4 o'clock, and then after that, you got to go. What the fuck? My show is 3 hours a day. Juneteenth Day is like me doing 3 days worth of shows all at the same time on a fucking holiday. No, thank you. I need a day off. But I think this year I just agreed to do my show from the studio, but I'm not going out there. I might stop down there later on, but I'm not. That's fucking terrible. So most people are going to drink that day. And then, so after you drink doing your Juneteenth Day festivities, you go to Summerfest and see some music, whatever. And then you go to the shooting range after you've been drinking. Because that's what they said on the afternoon show. Like, oh, after you're done with all your Juneteenth Day partying, come to the gun range. Brian says, Sherwin, I want you to interview Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know who? I think Ben and Carrie interviewed him, didn't they? Somebody interviewed, Tori might have interviewed. I don't know how the fuck they got that interview. Anita Nicole says, yes, too many interviews. I don't know where that's coming from. Like who's, maybe Nitty and Shannon want to interview a lot of people. I don't know why that's happening. Reginald says, my first time seeing a bald eagle in the wild was on Monday. If you go, you don't even got to go that far north. But I've been to the Northwoods of Wisconsin. They're everywhere. The bald eagles are. When I was growing up, Juneteenth went all day from north to Burla. Yeah, you can't. And it used to go to at least 10 o'clock, maybe even later. There was never any problems either. They had to cut that shit out. The route is now a fraction of what it used to be. And here's what's crazy. There's more black people in the city now, and Juneteenth Day is the shortest time-wise and length. JD the Poet says, north of Burleigh was a time my aunts and grandfather lived in Wrightstown. Parade would go past their apartment. All right, guys. I jaw-jacked enough, and I'll try to keep these to an hour. Thank you guys for hanging out, chatting a little bit. 7 o'clock till 8 o'clock, Monday through Friday. You can join us for these unfiltered, uncensored conversations. You can even call in because we have a phone number, as I'm sure you all heard Al call in. You all are welcome to call in as well. I reckon I'll be back here tomorrow at 7 o'clock because I can't get fired from this job. Again, thank you for listening. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, by all means, please do so. It is Hughes Views 414. And if you are watching and viewing on YouTube, just click my little avatar right there and it'll take you to the subscribe page. I'll see you soon.